următorul speaker. Este vorba despre Cristina Bebenec de la Gemius și va vorbi despre trenduri în measurement și alte lucruri interesante legate de digital research.
Hello everybody, that's my second time in Romania here in this year. I started in spring, being here for a week for vacation, visiting the country with my friends. And now I'm here to tell you about the trends in digital research. At the beginning, a few words about Gemius. We are a purely digital company. We are making around 600 marketing studies via internet. We are tracking, measuring 250,000 of websites. We are monitoring campaigns. We are providing web analytics, video analytics solutions. We've got around 2,000 clients. We won more than 10 internet audience tenders across Europe and Asia. And we are in internet 13 years already. And currently we are in more than 35 countries. This is mainly Europe, Central and Eastern, but also Middle East, also North Africa. Here is a sample map with coverage of the country where we are providing internet audience study. So some of the countries are marked as countries where we are official currency, some other as de facto currency. And from remote countries, we are, for example, in Kazakhstan, we are in Jordan, in Syria. When it comes to trends, I've grouped them into 6 groups. So first one is pay per. And what we are observing is that people, marketers, are not so keen to pay per ad impression, per unique user, per clicks. Because there is a simple question whether those impressions, clicks or cookies, whether that's the sales, so whether that's what's the purpose of the campaign. And more and more campaigns, they are paid by target group. They are paid per number of real users which were reached, and per number of people who registered to the service, and so on. So pay per acquisition. Example, in Hungary, Procter & Gamble, they ran one of the campaigns which was targeted to women, 16-24, and they decided to pay for 400,000 impressions, but only impressions which were reached by this target group. If there were some other impressions, they were not paid at all. Another quite visible trend is merging different data sources, different databases. Here are 2 examples. For example, this is Allegro, the biggest e-shop and auction platform in Poland. And they asked the question whether and how to integrate, for example, web analytics, sales data, and data about registered users. And some of the sales data and some of the data about registered users, they were and they are still transferred to web analytics. And then they are using web analytics to create the reports, to have the tool which allows them flexibility in making queries about some of sales data and connect it with information which are standard for web analytics. Another example from one of European countries is that we merge data from TGI study. So a panel which was based for TGI was fused with our internet audience study, so with panel of internet users. And at the end, there was a database which allowed easy access to hundreds of information about the people. Another phenomena, reach and frequency. Quite often, we are hearing the question, where is my TV audience? Because although TV still is very, very, very popular and always will be, there are people who just don't have TV. Maybe there are such people here. Wow. So for sure we are not representative sample here, because like 10% of us don't have TV at all. Of course, what we are doing then, there are different screens. There are different alternatives, so such people can be on smartphones, on tablets, on PCs. This is example of one of the study which focus on the owners of TV sets, and they were asked the question, what are other ways where you can reach when you are looking at TV or video content? And it occurred that 30% of people, they are watching TV, video content only on TV sets. So the rest are using alternative players as well. Video as something what is really visible everywhere. You can ask the question how to measure it. On one hand, adverts on video can be described with TV metrics, because in fact there is no big difference between a TV ad and video ad. Of course, internet ad can be much more interactive. And that's why, on the other hand, video can be described with internet metrics. What we observe is that what's common and what is commonly used is that reach. Video campaigns can be described with reach, can be described with target groups. Here, example of one of the campaign described with reach and frequency. So the campaign was targeted at people at age 16 to 35. And 50% of them, they saw the campaign at least once. 23% had 2 or more contacts with the campaign. And 14%, they had the contact 3 times or more. Another visible trend is segmentation of the users. What we understand as segmentation? We understand that on the one hand, of course, everybody is interested in having the picture of all the users who are somehow connected to the campaign, who are visiting the website. But on the other hand, more and more studies, more and more research focus on some particular group of people. So on target group for some particular purpose. It might be the users of the competition. Those might be a group of people who bought some well-defined product. Those can be socio-demographical groups, for example, men at age 15 to 70, maybe not 70, but 15 to 37. That can be also any other target group which you can imagine. And another, I've described it with this Pythagora quotation. And generally, when it comes to describing the entire image of internet, of digital media in the given country, website measurement always must be supplemented with information about online video. So how video consumption is visible in the country, and also mobile measurement. So they all go together. Mobile websites, mobile apps, video, traditional websites, everything together. And the next one is that marketers, clients, they ask more and more in-depth questions, which means that some of them were satisfied with number of clicks, but now more and more are looking at dwells. They want to have both information. They had information, for example, about ad impressions. However, they would like, and they ask, okay, say us also about in-screen impressions. Give us more detailed information. Unique users, tell me about real users, tell me about people, tell me about consumers. No cookies anymore. We told about users. We get the questions, what is the share of target groups? So what are those segments? What are the real aims? And summarizing, there are different trends. Some of them are a natural answer to what's going on with internet, with devices. Some of them are answer to the need for more in-depth information. Thank you very much. Some questions? Everywhere where I'm using the word unique user, I understand just cookie. So cookie is not a good indicator. For example, in Poland, we've got 20 million of internet users and 120 million of cookies. So that's why we don't describe audience of a website with cookies. We are using already for almost 10 years the metric real user, so equivalent, so the consumer, the person. Okay. For example, when we are describing the internet, let it be, I don't know, in Poland, and we are saying number 1 website, number 2 website, number 3 website, we are saying how many people are visiting each of them, what is socio-demographical profile of them. However, we don't describe each person separately. And we are merging data from 3 sources. The first one is site-centric tracking, which is the source of 100% correct information about events which are on the website. That's one source. The second source is offline structural study, which describe the general picture of the country. So how many internet users there are in Poland, how many of them are women or men. And the first source, this is a panel of internet users whose behavioral, whose activity in the internet is tracked. And everything is merged together. And at the end, there is the study with the results and with information about real users.
So if I get this right, you have three sources. You have people who are registered on the site and have information about them, so you can track them directly. You have
almost. They are not registered to the site, but they decided, for example, to provide information about their age, gender, education, and so on, and whose behavior online we can track.
But you don't know if these are the same people who are behind the computer. You can never know that, more or less. They have to be logged in somehow, if I get this right.
Yes, and on the markets where we are providing the study with the methodology of software panel, they are logged in.
Okay.
So they are saying which of the users for the computer they are. So we can assign activity to a proper person, even if there is more than one user per this computer. If you are interested, I can provide you very dedicated information about the study.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Alte întrebări? Ok.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cristina.